Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me on Monday, June 10th, just about 5:30 p.m. And that sucked. The Battlehawks really sucked at the time. That it was probably important that they didn't play their worst game of the season. I mean, all around except for one single person. Two people, honestly, I'll say. No, just really one. All around shit game by everybody. Um, Play calling was atrocious. Quarterback play was bad, given some really terrible circumstances. It was bad before that. Offensive line played the worst they've ever played. Wide receivers didn't catch the ball. Running backs didn't catch the ball. Linebackers missed tackles. Defensive backs missed tackles. Defensive line probably could have just not even had a defensive line and the game would have gone relatively similarly. It was just bad all around. I didn't mention that Donnie Abraham got absolutely cooked. Just really, really bad from every single person. And I think number one, I will start with AJ because this is probably the last we'll see of AJ McCarron. In this game, AJ, let me pull it up real quick. I probably should have just started with it on his numbers. AJ was 19 for 29. I should also say this is a reKAWp for this game and then also for the entire season, more or less. Also, your Battlehawks lost 25-15 to the San Antonio Brahmas and are out of the UFL championship game. But yes, AJ McCarron, 19 for 29. 179 yards, a touchdown. That's completion percentage of 66%, which falls in line with pretty much his season. But it was so obviously the biggest thing that happened this game was him hurting his ankle again, the same ankle in the same exact way, right before halftime in meaningless plays. Hurts his ankle. He's going to require the tightrope surgery, which is an absolute hell to go through. After the game in the press conference, AJ was saying that all of his doctors are saying that he needed to get surgery after the Birmingham game. So then he heard it again now, and I don't know how the hell that man walked. I don't know how the hell he walked. That it's a gruesome injury, and the play calling after the injury was specifically the double reverses, which this team has never ran as far as I remember. Bruce Gradkowski's play calling. I'm just going to kind of jump around to all the shit, I think, is how I'm going to go with this. But the Bruce Gradkowski's play calling, buddy, what are we doing with this? I don't know why. So we haven't done any double reverses, let alone a double reverse pass this entire season, or anything remotely setting a play like that up. And then Bruce calls it twice in one game. The second time he calls it, the first time it's a fumble, and it's brutal because they've apparently have never practiced this play. That's a result of them never practicing this play. As Darius Shepard goes to give the ball back to AJ where it hits, and it's a high pitch, and it hits AJ in the hands and bounces up and bounces back, and everything's bullshit. And then the second time he does it in the second half when AJ can't fucking move. And it's a reverse pass back to AJ. What? Excuse? Why is it's laughable. It's entirely laughable. You can't be mad at it. It's just laughable. That was the play. Like he's not hurt. He's not injured. The man is wounded. He was wounded. His body was broken on the inside. He is a wounded person. Again, not hurt or injured. Thoroughly hampered and just wounded. Not a mortal wound, but a grievous wound for sure. A grievous wound, definitely. Grievously wounded AJ McCarron is throwing the ball on a reverse pass. And at that point, well, the game was already over. But at that point, it's like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what we're doing. and nobody knows what's going on. There was no semblance of an offensive game plan. There was one time I mentioned several times last week how this is a very particular situation where normally you're talking about sequencing plays. You're talking about sequencing plays for a 60-minute football game. But this, in all essence, was a 120-minute football game, playing the same team twice in a row, where the first game is meaningless and the second game is win or go home. So you have an opportunity to set plays up for the second game. You really do. And they didn't. They didn't. I convinced myself when I was making my prediction for that game that there's no way that the offense can be that bad. There's no way they can be that bad. That'd be crazy that the offense is that bad for no reason. They had to have been setting things up for the XFL championship game. They must have been. They had to have been doing that. No, that was just their offense, man. That was just as bad as it's going to be. They did do the thing, and at the beginning of Week 10, they had JaKoor Pearson lined up at running back, and that's an awesome situation because you can have him be isolated on what could be a touchdown play, having him run out of the backfield into a pass pattern and then get the ball thrown to him, and he's going to outrun a linebacker because that's who's going to be matched up on him. And that play did come. And JaKoor Pearson went out into a pattern. But AJ's hurt at this point, and then doesn't pull the trigger on JaKoor Pearson, and then I believe he takes a sack on that one. That was one of the 4 sacks? 4 sacks that this offensive line gave up? Buddy, this offensive line, both lines, just got absolutely worked through and through, pressure in AJ's face the entire game, getting bashed, getting beat, getting battered. Ugh. It was disgusting. But AJ, man, and the receivers didn't help. The first drive of the game, Jake Sailors doesn't come down with the ball on a swing pass. Or not, I say come down with it. He doesn't complete a pass. It was thrown ahead of him, but it hit him in the hands. He should have been able to catch it. And then there's a third down where Hakeem Butler, wide open, wide as wide open, perfect. The play went perfect. And then Hakeem Butler drops the ball. The UFL's Offensive Player of the Year has a ball, smoke him in the hands, doesn't come down with it. That's kind of been the thing on Hakeem Butler. Not the best hands in the world. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of go down my list here. I don't think Anthony Becht is in this, like in the post-game press conference. So I went to the game, and then I came home, listened to the post-game press conference, and then I rewatched the game all last night. Watching that game twice in one night is not something I would recommend. So that's why I don't have energy, because I don't have a whole lot of a voice, and it's kind of just sad. Because that post-game press conference, AJ is torn up. I don't think he's going to come back. He was talking about having to have the surgery, and if he doesn't play in this league, he said he wanted to play 9 years in the NFL, but after this, 10 years in the NFL was his goal, and after this, he doesn't know if he'll be able to, because this is a long recovery on this kind of a thing. So hopefully he can come back as a coach or a player in the UFL. Who knows? I imagine somebody will give him a shot, but I can't imagine it's going to work out too well at this point. But yeah, so he's all torn up. He's in tears during the thing. He could have come out of the game, but he wanted to gut it out because his kids were in the stands, and he didn't want to. He wanted to show his kids that you have to gut things out. It was heartfelt and it was sad. It was awful, man. It was a terrible, terrible thing to watch. But then also in that press conference, Becht was the first one to talk. And he said that he's in this league to help players, which is good. That's a good way to win your players over if you're going to be the CEO head coach like he is, because he offers nothing in terms of game planning, strategy, play calling, anything like that. That guy's a nothing burger. But if you're going to be that CEO head coach, saying that you're here for the players is probably a good thing. Not a good thing if you're looking to be a team that wins. Necessarily, probably, yeah. You want a coach that's kind of in on winning. He said winning is something for him, but he's here for the players first. So that's incredibly telling. Finally got it out of him. Seems like a good guy, no doubt. Anthony Becht's a good guy. Head coach, yeesh, don't think so. Okay, so for the reason that was the first thing in my notes here is because I watched that press conference first. Hakeem Butler had the big drop on the first drive. I mean, the defensive line after the next note is on the defensive line is all out of sorts. Like they weren't lined up before plays. The linebackers are scrambling to get set. The Brahmas. Turns out I flamed Wade Phillips, and I'm gonna continue to flame Wade Phillips because I fucking hate that guy. Bane of my existence. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone, Wade Phillips. I hate you. Just leave me alone forever, please. But Wade Phillips clearly had something with having his offense practice with earplugs in, because they did not get affected by the crowd at all. And then they shut the crowd up, too. Like, I mean, the crowd was still loud, but not near as loud as it was on that first drive. But then they started hitting these big runs. They had, 213 rushing yards this game, the Brahmas did. One player for 115, Anthony McFarland for 115, and then John Lovett for 83. Like, Jesus, guys. This defensive line couldn't stop anything. I mean, if you're wondering what the importance of a good interior defensive line is, this is exactly what it is, because they're just going to run it through your goddamn face. They're just going to run it. Just hit a motherfucker right in the face. Just run through a motherfucker's face. Like, that's what they did this entire game. They didn't get to Chase Garbers at all. Chase Garbers, who's playing hurt. He was 15 for 21, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw that interception, which was a beautiful interception by Cam Kelly. Beautiful interception by him. Man, he caught that in the end zone, sliding down. Not an easy catch to make. I like it, Cam Kelly. I'm glad that they put Cam Kelly in over Ben DeLuca. I'm happy that Cam Kelly earned that spot. But yeah, the defensive line is all out of sorts. I mentioned a lot of things about the defensive line in these notes. They were just nothing. Peter Tamoipenu did get that fumble recovery, but that's fumble luck, man. It's not like that was a forced strip sack or anything like that. It was a mishandled ball, and it kept squirting out further and further back. It almost looked like Travis Feeney scooped the ball up and threw it towards the end zone, which is illegal, but I mean, maybe he didn't. I could be convinced either way. And then Peter Tamoipenu grabs it, scores a touchdown, and that was 6 of the team's 15 points. The offense only put up 6 points. No, 7 points? 7, I believe. Yeah, so 15 minus 6 is 9. No, that was 6 of the offensive points, and it was there's 6 of the team's points was a defensive score, which is just truly pathetic. The motion, like I mentioned, if there was a way for the Brahmas to win this game, it was come in prepared and not have to do their kindergarten bullshit offense that they were doing. I say kindergarten. How about we go middle school offense where they were having the quarterback run and get the play every single time. They went to the play call sheet on the wrist. And that helped them out a lot. And the motion was killing the offense. It was just the defense is just bringing people out of position, and they just exposed the absolute hell out of this defense. Just because, like in week 1, if this defense is in man, they're just going to get exposed. That's kind of been a theme throughout the entire thing. If you're looking for a bit of this, that is a full season reKAWp. This team sucks in man. Brendan Sebastian was the only good man cornerback, and he got hurt. So then the Cam Kelly beautiful interception. Then the Battlehawks had the flea flicker fumble, the flea flicker, the double reverse fucking bullshit loop-de-doo. I don't know, trying to be cute with it, and it was so stupid and dumb. And practice your trick plays, please. One time, practice a trick play just once. One single time, so that the first time you do it is not in this game. So they did the flea flicker fumble, which was pathetic. And then, maybe the drive after that, the offense came back, and Bruce Gradkowski with just another one of his fucking genius calls. This guy, smarter than anybody in the world, man. Smartest guy in the whole wide world. Bruce Gradkowski calls fucking chaos again, which is the one where they line the tackles up outside. I don't know what the fuck is supposed to happen in that play. Honest to God, I have no idea. The first time they ran it, which was against... who the hell was that against? Was that against Arlington? I think is what it was. In that, I believe it was in the first home game, or whatever. They ran it earlier this year, and it was thrown, and it was a negative negative yards, and then they did it this time, and AJ ran with the ball. Your quarterback, who's at that point coming off of an injury before he got injured again, decides to tuck and run, gets blown up at the line of scrimmage. Honest to God, I have no idea. That's shades of Ezekiel Elliott being the Cowboys center on his at the end of the 2022 season. Like I have no idea what the fuck they were thinking with that. That was I don't get it. I don't get it. And Bruce is a fucking moron, man. Every single play that he ran was just the wrong play, except for like the touchdown play. Every single play that he ran was just the wrong play. Just the wrong play. And every single play that San Antonio ran was the right play. It was such a discrepancy in any kind of like successful play against the defense that I can't remember any like worse play calling than this. It was so terrible. Everybody is at fault, is my point. Not just the coaches. The coaches do have a huge percentage of the blame put on them, but bad execution and catching and all that shit too. But yeah, he just the chaos. I don't know what is infatuation where he stands up there with his arms crossed. The play is just chaos. There's no number. It's just chaos. He says chaos, 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 and they line up in this and then get no yardage. It's like I don't know what you like, and you see it happen. You're like, well, this is stupid and this is dumb and this looks terrible, and then it's stupid and dumb and it looks terrible and it is terrible. I don't know. What a fucking moron, man. That Bruce Gradkowski stinks. I have another note here. Defensive backs played like shit individually, like outside of the scheme that they were playing, like where Cam Kelly's in the right position for that scheme to like on that play to be able to make that interception. But like individually, they played like garbage. There was one play where Chris Payton-Jones was entirely at fault for a touchdown. It was the Brahmas' second touchdown. There in man, he makes a move on the ball with no help over the top and just gets sunned. And then what was his name? Was that maybe Justin, whoever the hell it was? I think it was Justin Smith with like a 63-yard touchdown or something like that. It's like, well, I don't know what you expected. I don't know what you expected, Chris Payton-Jones. That was dog shit too. Very excited to see what his he does these videos. It's like day in the life of Chris Payton-Jones, and then there's like no words to it at all. It's just all like videos and stuff like that. And then this is going to be a pathetic one. Another note, offensive play calling is garbage. They kept, again, going back to calling the exact wrong play. They kept running against stacked boxes. They didn't take a deep shot on an offsides, which is a blunder. That's the second time that they've done that this season that I counted, that they haven't taken a shot when they have a free play. Next note, 2 notes after running versus stacked boxes, there's an 8-man box, and then they ran it. Like, maybe it wasn't 8, maybe it was 7. I couldn't count all the people that quick. And they just ran it. It's like, this is so bad. It was such a bad, it was like, I don't know what other words you can do. I only have what's that? Probably 10 more of these. This is the Ja'Cour Pearson from the backfield. It's a pass, but AJ doesn't pull the trigger. McCarron gets hurt before halftime. The game is done. On defense, the defensive line was doing such a terrible job affecting anything the Brahma's offensive linemen were able to get to the second level and just block people downfield. It was disgusting there. D-line, no. This is where Jake Sutherland gets his touchdown. Tight ends and touchdowns, it's underutilized. I've been saying it for 2 years now. Please throw to your tight ends. Only good things happen. I believe that means Jake Sutherland caught every single pass that he had this year. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can pull up what his, stats for Battlehawks, individual stats, receiving. If I go to Jake Sutherland, they haven't updated it since yesterday. He's 12 for 12 with 3 touchdowns. So he's getting a touchdown on a third of his catches. Just wanted to make sure that we put that out there. Say that sentence into the ether. Jake Sutherland caught 12 passes this season, and 4 of them were for touchdowns. And this team is dog shit in the red zone. So just make sure that we're keeping that all on track. Yeah, because that's really pathetic. I wonder if I can see on this team stats what the red zone percentage is. It's not going to tell me what their red zone percentage is. Oh, that's a bummer. I really want to see what this team, not their updated red zone percentage has got to just be so terrible. I wonder if I can go to the stats for the teams for the UFL offense conversions. It's not giving me red zone stats. Man, that's what I want. I could go back and look them all up, but at this point it's stupid to do that. They were 1 for 2 in the red zone. This week. The offense, by the way, was 2 for 11 on third downs, which is like the third week in a row that they've been like that. Yeah, they're by far and large the worst third down team in the UFL, and that's not sustainable at all, even a little bit. There was an AJ, and I typed up this note and then changed it. My initial note was the AJ and Darius Shepard connection is amazing. But I changed it to the AJ and Darius Shepard connection was amazing, and that hurt. That hurt to write because I don't think that's something that we're going to see ever again. At no point did either line, defense or offense, have an upper hand. There was bits and pieces. I mean, Jake Sailors had a 23-yard run that was. Included a tight end block because, again, like I said at the beginning of the or in the bird's eye preview for this, that's going to be a way that this offense could take advantage using your tight ends to gain numbers on the offensive line. They did it a handful of times and it worked when they did, but there was no consistency to it. So yeah, at no point did the offensive line feel like they had an upper hand. That offensive line with 2 of the all UFL players on it. And then them not kicking a field goal at the on that last drive was concession. That was them conceding this game. That was them 12 seconds left in the game. Even 5 plays before 12 seconds left is when you kick the field goal. So that way you can try to get the ball back. Like that's what you do there. I mean, you have to. What is it? What is it? A 4th and 12, I think, is what it is. Is what you have to get in order to get the ball back. You can go further than 12 yards though on that play. They would never have been able to do it because AJ's leg is turned into mashed potatoes and the offensive line can't block shit. But at least a shot, at least a try there would have been cool. But yeah, no, it was pathetic, man. It was really, really pathetic. Entirely pathetic. Jake Sailors was the only person that had a good game. 14 carries for 79 yards. That's an average of 5.6 yards per carry. Compare that to Anthony McFarland, the Brahmas leading rusher. Now, he did have a 69-yard run, which it happened, so it gets brought into the stats. But he averaged 10.5 yards per run, which is truly, truly, truly disgusting. Obviously, with the 69, I wonder what that would be. What would it be if there was a world where we could take that run out of there? So it would have been, let's say, 115 minus 69 is 46 divided by 10, so 4.6 yards per carry. That's both of their running backs would have averaged 4.6 yards per carry at that point. They just owned the line, and I mean they had to just put it into perspective on how dominant that run game was. They only had 4 separate receivers catch the ball. They what's his dick? Chase Garbers threw the ball to 7 different guys, but only 4 of them caught the ball. John Trey Kirkland had a much quieter game, so good on that. Didn't necessarily need to have a big game. He had 5 catches for 61 yards. Marquez Stevenson, I told you that if this team was going to win, they were going to have more passes to John Trey Kirkland and less to I can't remember who the fuck their other guy was that was catching the ball. But Marquez Stevenson, John Trey Kirkland, Justin Smith, and Anthony McFarland were the 4 people that caught the ball. Other than that, I mean, they just ran the ball, and they ran the ball incredibly efficiently, and it was, I mean, that's how they won this game. As far as penalties go, I know there was the really bad one on defense where, what's his name? Or no, that was on offense. That was Jared Jones-Smith absolutely blasted a guy. It was a 15-yard penalty. And that the Bruce Gradkowski, and you can tell me. So this penalty back to the offense up to like their 6-yard line or whatever the fuck it was. And then Bruce Gradkowski ran the ball again on a running back draw. And you can tell me that that's a smart move. You can tell me that that's a smart move as much as you want. But that's not. I don't. It was 3rd and 26. And I mean, again, you can tell me that's a smart move to get your punter some space. But I would have. And you're not gonna convert a 3rd and 26. But that it's just like, I don't know. I still hated it. I still hated it. Like, yeah, probably the smart move, but I still just absolutely hated it, man. I just hated it. It was so pathetic, dude. It was just such a pathetic game all around. I don't know. So I mean, that's really what it is. Defensively, this is Elijah Lee, number 33. And I don't take the total number of tackles a player gets in any given game as a semblance of whether or not that player played well, because there's a reason you're making the tackle. Like if you're a defensive back, the guy caught the ball and you're making the tackle. Same kind of a deal with linebackers to a point, because if the ball's going over the middle, they caught the ball because you didn't break it up or defend it, or they threw it at your guy, which means that you didn't do a good job. But Elijah Lee, a guy that just got signed by the Battlehawks this week, or maybe it was last week. He's been with the Battlehawks for less than 2 full weeks. Led the team in tackles. He had a sack. And he had a tackle for a loss. He had 12 total tackles. Willie Harvey had 7. Quinterio Cole had 7. Quinterio Cole, hats off to him, I guess. I mean, I think he played. I didn't go back and like watch a whole bunch of these snaps over and over again like I normally do, but as far as I could tell, it seemed like he was in good positions. It was just I don't know, man. This Brahmas team just did everything that teams have done to kind of broaden this into a whole season-wide thing. The Brahmas watched the Battlehawks tape throughout the season and exposed them in every single way that, when they have gotten exposed, has worked. I mean, like they just beat the shit out of the team on short plays. What was the longest pass in this game? The longest pass in this game was, well, that Justin Smith for 63 yards, but that was a broken tackle at the 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. But John Trey Kirkland had a 22-yard pass. I don't know, man. They had 108 yards of yak. Okay, yeah, no, okay, so looking at this, Justin Smith had 57 yards of yak, and he had that 63-yard catch. So I imagine that 57 of those yards, the ball got thrown 6 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then he just ran the entire way. Man, it was bad. It was ugly. But yeah, no, this to go broader, the team exposed this team every single way that they have been exposed. They just did it all at once, and they did it in a really efficient manner. The Battlehawks defense was porous, but it could be good when they had teams just throwing the ball against them. When they were up on teams, they were able to expose offenses and kind of make them single-faceted. But whenever they weren't, like, again, in every single game that they lost, the Brahmas, they just slanted them to death. What's it called? The Renegades took advantage of the outside of the field and poor tackling. And then this team was the Brahmas. This game, they were just like, we don't think that you can run it, and we think we can get a good push on you guys. And guess what they did? They did that exact thing, stuff that we've seen this season, but it all just compounded into one magnificent pile of shit for the grand finale. But yeah, I mean, it's bad. As far as coaches coming back, I the only coach that I would be fine with coming back is Donnie Abraham being the defensive coordinator. But I don't think that you bring him. You can't just keep a defensive coordinator. I think I don't want Anthony Beck to be back, but I think he probably will, just because players like him. I think that he will be back, but I don't want him to be. Bruce Gradkowski's got to go. He's got a shit offense. He's got a really shitty offense that doesn't allow playmakers to be playmakers, really. Like Ja'Cour Pearson in this game, the leading wide receiver in the XFL last year. To be fair, he was also been playing hurt this year, but only had 12 yards this game. It was just everything was terrible and not fun at all. I think what was his name, Ka-KAWphony, the running back and special teams coordinator. He should be back. He had an incredibly amazing season doing what he did with his running backs absolutely killing it, and his special teams was immaculate too. So good for him on that. I don't know. Is there anything else I really want to say? As far as awards for this game, Ka-KAW of the Week. Ka-KAW of the Week goes to the player who played the best. That's not a quarterback. It was not going to be A.J. McCarron, even if quarterback was taken into account this game. It's going to be Jake Sailors. 79 yards against that defense is pretty good. It's pretty good. He didn't get a touchdown. I could give it to Jake Sutherland just out of spite for this team. Give it to another. That would be his second Ka-KAW of the Week. But I'm going to give it to Jake Sailors. By far and large, the best player on this team this year is Jake Sailors, and that's a team with Hakeem Butler, Ja'Cour Pearson, and A.J. McCarron. Disappointment of the year would be Marcel Aitman. Marcel Aitman earlier on in this season had a good game, a good game. Other than that, he had one target this game and didn't come down with it. He's just had an incredibly quiet season. Of the week. You got to give it to Bruce Gradkowski for just a pathetic. I mean, just every single play call was terrible. Every single one of them was terrible, except for the one where they threw to a tight end. That one, I like that one. Do that more, dumbass. Let's see. There was one good hot mic. I believe it was from Chase Garbers. He said the play is so fucking late. They really did their best. Fox really did their best to try to mute everything, but they censor everything, but they didn't. So they were actually at the game this time. The Fox people were actually in the broadcast booth. They were at this, and they were grossly unprepared for that kind of a broadcast, because normally they're remote, whether they're in the parking lot or they're at their houses, at their national studio, whatever the hell it is. But they were actually at this game, and whatever broadcast situation they've had before where they're able to just mute every single thing, that did not work, because there was a lot of shits and fucks and that kind of stuff. So hot mic of the week is going to go to Chase Garbers for saying this play is so fucking late when they were up 25-15. It's okay, it's kind of a shitty, but okay, it's whatever. Bitch of the week is going to be Wade Phillips. I'm actually going to do this. I did bitch of the week last year too, and it was to Ben DiNucci, that asshole. Twice, 2 years in a row, an ex-Cowboy fucks over the Battlehawks. How about that? Bitch of the year this year is going to go to Wade Phillips. His stupid bullshit in that first game where he's like, I got 3 timeouts, and then he didn't end up using any of them, and the Brahmas lost that game. And then bitch of the week this year or bitch of the year this year for just doing this cocky bullshit and being an asshole. I do not like you, Sam I Am. I do not like that Birmingham. He gets bitch of the week. Ka-KAWard of the game. The Ka-KAWard of this game goes to their offensive lineman whose last name is actually Coward. So that was an easy one. Very close second would be Anthony Becht for the concession at the end of the game. Just quitting there. Let's see. Hot mic of the year. Hot mic of the year. To do hot mic of the year. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all around with these awards and everything. This entire show, I'm just jumping all around. I've just got a hot bag of shit in my brain from watching this game twice in 24 hours. Twice in 12 hours. Hot mic of the year is going to come from the Week 3 game against the Brahmas. This was the one where AJ, it's right at the 2-minute warning, they go to the microphones, the live feeds from the players' microphones on both sides. They do. The AJ McCarron yells, tell Bruce to get the fucking play in. Get the fucking play in, Bruce. He says that. And then it cuts to the Brahmas thing, and the Brahmas guy goes, we know what the fuck they're going to do. They can't do shit on us. And then drops a hard N-word. That was crazy. It was and that was a game broadcast on ABC, which is just a phenomenal thing. It was such good television, and then they really kind of dumbed it down at the end of the season. They kind of got on their P's and Q's. I think that's how you use that phrase. I'm not entirely sure. I'm dumb. But that one gets hot mic of the year easily. That they didn't censor, fuck shit. This game, AJ McCarron, they interviewed him in the second half after he got hurt. The sideline guy did, and AJ just straight up and says, "Not gonna lie, I feel like shit." And that's great. Don't mince words. Don't mince words at all. Just say, I feel like that's so good. I like that. But actually, you know what, that one. AJ, one last one. One last one for the road. I feel like shit. It's not a hot mic, but it is kind of a hot mic. He says, I feel like shit. That was a good one. This play is so fucking late. That Chase Garbers beat it. AJ McCarron, one for the road. I feel like shit gets hot mic of the game, but the hot mic of the year goes to the sequence where they both teams were cussing. And then it goes to the broadcast booth. And I think it was Sam Acho says, heated conversations on both sides. And then the other guy goes, yep. And it was just beautiful. That was comedy. That was great. This season was fun until it really wasn't. And that's the last 4 weeks of the season. Remind you of any team absolutely falling apart at the end of a season? A historical downfall? Team maybe wins 1 game in their last stretch? Does that remind you of anybody? Does that remind you maybe of the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm having a bad football year. That's for damn sure. I don't know. So that's where we're at, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I really do. If you've listened to this and you've listened to me and talked to me and watched me all season long, I appreciate that. There's so many places people that you can listen to that are smarter than me. I understand that not a lot of people are covering the Battlehawks, so you might just kind of be hamstrung and tied to me in that case. But you did listen, and I genuinely mean I appreciate that. There's so many people that you can listen to, but you chose to listen to me, and you chose to listen to Solid, and I appreciate that so much. I'm gonna reach out to some players through the off season and see if I can get some maybe 15, 20-minute interviews and stuff like that. Maybe I'll talk ball with them, but it kind of just to get to know people. I think it could be fun to just have fun with some of these players. They seem like fun people. They're playing in a league. They play this league not because of the money, but because they love playing football, and I love football. And I think that could be a fun conversation. Not with some big J journalist, but with some dipshit in South County. That's all. That's what I have to offer. I'm a fucking idiot with a camera and a microphone and a ring light that reflects off my glasses too often. And I like football, and these guys like football, and I think that's all. That can be what joins us together. So maybe I'll come back with you guys in the off season. Other than that, thank you guys very much. I genuinely mean it. I appreciate it. This has been Solid. My name is Jake. Go Birds. Caw is the law, martial law, I guess at this point. Go Iron Birds. Literally anything that you say in the entirety of the English language can be translated to go Battlehawks. I was at the stadium and I did that thing where I brought in 20 beers in my backpack this time. But what I did is that I had an umbrella in there too, and then a metal water bottle. So when I go through the metal detector, it goes off. And I say, I got a water bottle and a umbrella in my backpack. And the guy goes, you can't bring the water bottle in. So it's fuck. So I got to throw away a $5 water bottle, but I save $120 on beer. So I had to throw the water bottle away. I said, all right, that's cool, it's fine. And obviously, by this conversation that me and the gentleman at the gate had, where it was just a verbal fist bump of "Go Birds, go Battlehawks." That's what that was. So yeah, literally anything you say can be translated into to "Go Battlehawks." But again, thank you guys very much for listening to me for the last 2.5 months. I appreciate it, genuinely I do. And I'll talk to you guys later.